Seventh unit, Nation and Diversity. C reading, Unity in Diversity in India. India, a country of many ethnic groups, is a land of myriad languages, a veritable babel of tongues, and numerous modes of apparel. It means India has many races all over India. It has so many castes, so many tribes, so many different kinds of people living in our country. Our country has many ethnic groups. Here, ethnic means a race, belonging to a race. There are so many races in our India. It is a land of myriad languages. It is a land of many languages. It has so many languages in different areas of different people. As per our Indian constitution, there are only 22 recognized languages are there, but we have so many languages in our different areas, in different tribal areas, and also a veritable babel of tongues and numerous modes of apparel. It's very true. There are so many voices, there are so many languages spoken by our Indians, our Indian tribals, our Indian races. And also, there are so many varieties of clothes, there are so many varieties of dressings. India has very different country in all our world. It has so many races, so many languages, so many voices, and so many different cultures. For the most part, the continental dimensions of the country account for these variations and diversities. Most of the part of our country, the dimensions it has varieties of variations, differences, and also diversities. Diversities means differences. The country, the continental, the country's borderlines, physical structure is very different. There are so many variations, so many kinds of lands. Besides, there are several religions, sections, and beliefs. Besides being the different dimensions of the country, there are so many religions: Hinduism, Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhism, Jainism. There are so many sections of people. In every religion, there are so many sections, and there are so many beliefs of their systems. India has so many kinds of different people, different sections, different religions, different beliefs, different languages. But there are certain common links and uniting bonds that people have sought to develop in order to achieve the eminently desirable goal of unity amidst diversity. India has so many kinds of beliefs, sections, religions, continental dimensions. There are so many modes of apparel, veritable babel of tongues, and so many myriad languages and ethnic groups. But there are certain common links and uniting bonds that people have sought to develop in order to achieve the eminently desirable goal of unity amidst diversity. There are very extremely goal of unity in all these diversities. Our Indians strongly bonding that we have to develop we have to develop the achievement, very extreme achievement to for the desirable goal of unity. In all these differences we have searching for the unity. Next para. It is true that superficial observers are likely to be bewildered by the astonishing variety of Indian life. Superficial observers, the observers who are observing the unity of Indian people, how they are uniting their bonding. That kind of superficial observers confused by the varieties of Indian life, amazed to find the varieties of Indian life. They are also confused which bonding is tied between them, between the Indian life and Indian people. They fail to discover the one in many, the individual in the aggregate, the simple in the composite. The superficial observers are also failed to discover the Indian people, why they are uniting one, why they are living with different kinds of cultures, different kinds of dressings, different kinds of language, different kinds of voices, different kinds of sections, different kinds of beliefs, different kinds of religions, different kinds of regions. Even though they have these differences, they are searching for the development, they are searching for the goal of unity. This kind of living system was also not found by the superficial observers, how the Indian people are one in many, how the Indian people are individual in the aggregate, how the Indian people are simple in the composite. They are not finding, they failed to discover this kind of nature of Indian people. With them, the whole is lost in its parts. With them, what are them here? It is the one in many, the individual in the aggregate, and the simple in the composite. These are all divided into parts. The whole thing is divided into parts. They are not find, they fail to discover the one in many. With them, the whole is lost. The whole is lost in its parts. What is needed is the superior interpretation, synthesis of the power of the mind that can give rise to a vision of the whole. Yes, what is needed? Superior interpretation, a way of explanation, or the way of understanding the ideas of different people, different kinds of sections, and synthesis of the power of the mind. The act of combining the different ideas of different thoughts into one, synthesis of power of mind, that can give rise to a vision of the whole. That kind of thoughts, that kind of thinking, superior interpretation and synthesis of the power of the mind, these are given rise to a vision of the whole. A keen penetrating insight will not fail to recognize the fundamental unity beneath the manifold variety in India. A keen penetrating insight, a complete understanding or a quick understanding and clean observation, these will not fail to recognize the fundamental unity beneath the manifold variety in India. We have different kinds of varieties, so many different kinds of varieties, different kinds of languages, different kinds of customs, different kinds of modes of apparel, ethnic groups, myriad languages, veritable of tongues, sections, beliefs. Beneath all these varieties, the fundamental unity will be recognized by a keen penetrating insight, a clear observation, a quick understanding, a complete understanding, insight understanding. If we observe clearly, we could not fail to find all these variations beneath these variations. We have the fundamental unity. The diversity itself, far from being a damaging cause of disunity and weakness, is a fertile source of strength and wealth. The diversity, the different kind of the differences, it itself is not a damaging cause of our unity or weakness. It is a strength, it is a wealth. The diversity is a fertile source of strength and wealth. It is a rich, heavy strength and heavy wealth. It gives strength and wealth. The diversity gives strength and wealth to our Indian people. It is not causing for our disunity and weakness. Sir Herbert Risley has rightly observed, beneath the manifold diversity of physical and social types, languages, customs, and religions which strike the observer in India, there can still be discerned a certain underlying uniformity of life from the Himalayas to Cape Cameron. Sir Herbert Risley Sir Herbert Risley has observed our India has so many different kinds of diversities of physical and social types, different kinds of languages, different kinds of customs, and different kinds of religions. Even though we have these all differences, Sir Herbert Risley observed that there can be still discerned a certain underlying uniformity. He noticed that there is a certain underlying uniformity of life of Indian people from Himalayas to Cape Cameron. There are uniformity, the bonding, the people creating their bonding underlying beneath all these differences. That is the uniformity of the life from the Himalayas to Cape Cameron. Sir Herbert Risley observed all these things. From his long and first-hand experience in India, Vincent A. Smith says that the civilization of India has many features which differentiate it from that of the other regions of the world, while they are common to the whole country in degree sufficient to justify its treatment as a unity in the history of human, social, and intellectual development. Vincent A. Smith, from his experience, our Indian civilization has many features. The civilization of India has differentiate from other regions of the world, but our Indians are common to the whole country in their living styles, and also the treatment of our Indian people treated them as a unity in the history of human, social, and intellectual developments. Human development, social development, and intellectual development. In these three developments, our Indian people treated as unity. They feel like we are one. This is the observation by Vincent A. Smith.